It does. Now, I know social media strategist is at one of the forefronts of what you do, Rachel.
Mhm.
It's always interesting for me when I'm interviewing someone because obviously I want to pull out of them, but I also want to be mindful of the fact that I'm sure there's lots of questions around social media that people ask you all the time. There's a part of me that feels like I want to ask those, but maybe in a slightly different way, and then draw out a little bit more. But for you, what does social media mean?
Ooh, social media basically means a place where we can, to an extent, share our mind, our beliefs, our interests, and we can truly connect with people over a platform that we wouldn't normally be able to connect with people around. I was actually just talking about this today on a live and talking about how if we were in a time where social media didn't exist, there would be so many of us living very similar lives and having absolutely no idea that there was someone else living a similar life across the world. And I love that it gives us the ability to learn very quickly, oftentimes. It gives us the ability to connect with others. It gives us the ability to build brands in ways that haven't been accessible before. I mean, goodness gracious knows people couldn't afford traditional media. And so social media kind of became a little bit of a game changer for businesses. So it's all of the above.
Yeah, it's interesting. Social media has. I've always said if you use it well, it'll be of service to you. If not, you'll be its slave.
Ooh.
Because it's one of those where in business, I think it's critical. I have one friend called James, and he doesn't work in the world of entrepreneurship, and he's not on social media. And sometimes I kind of not that I wouldn't necessarily envy's probably too strong, but I love the fact he doesn't have to post. You know, how do we not lose like our love for social media?
Okay, so this is really interesting, but a lot of times we see burnout and creator burnout, business owner burnout. And I think that what that really boils down to is us forgetting that we're in charge of how and when and how often we participate. Like I literally think we forget it. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
We become so locked into these, I have to do this, that we completely lose our love for what we're doing. And a lot of times people will like create every single day and then hit this point where they're like, I'm so burnt out. And then they announce this departure and then they disappear for a
Mhm.
month, but then they never quite get their love back again. I actually just like to disappear for a day, 2 days, a week, whenever needed. So I do that from time to time, and people don't really notice because I don't announce it every single time. I just disappear, and when I reemerge, no one really noticed I was gone. And oh, sometimes people do, but most of the time people don't. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. Or, the last day before I go, I'll schedule just enough content so that people don't really notice that I'm gone for a couple days. In fact, recently I went on every August, we have a family trip all together. So that I can connect with my nieces and nephews. It's a built-in time. There's 14 nieces or 14 kids under the age of 10 and 10 adults. And we got to spend almost a week together, and I had planned out just enough content so that no one noticed I was gone until I was back. And then when I started sharing pictures, people were like, "Oh, you're on a family vacation right now." I'm like, "Actually, I was gone all last week and no one noticed." And it was kind of cool.
That
Do you
is
know what I
cool.
mean? Not being dishonest, everything was worded appropriately, but it was kind of nice to realize, wow, people don't really notice if I'm gone. And that's actually a good thing. As much as it sounds depressing, it's actually a good thing. You can use that time to recoup without anyone even realizing.